Dear colleagues, today, 6th of December 2025, the advisory group of experts gathered in full to hold an interview with a candidate for the position of a judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine, Olesia Nykon. At the meeting, all 6 members of the advisory group of experts are present. Secretary of the advisory group of experts, Madam Marina O'Connor, member of the advisory group of experts, Madam Hanna Sokotska, member of the advisory group of experts, Mr. Ales Zalar, Mr. Romaniuk, Mr. Shakun, and myself, chairperson of the advisory group of experts, Oksana Vasilchenko. Also, during the interview, 4 deputy members of the advisory group of experts are present, Mr. Kuzmenko, Mr. Barrett, Mr. Griffiths, Mr. Machinchuk. I would like to note that we are working in a shelter, therefore in the event of air alert, the interviews will continue. I would also like to remind that the interview is being recorded and broadcasted live on the advisory group of experts resources as well as Constitutional Court of Ukraine website. Therefore, I draw attention to the advisory group of experts members and the candidate to the restriction of the use of sensitive data and information with limited access. In case of the need to discuss such facts, the broadcasting will be suspended. We are ready to begin. I give the floor to Madam Marina O'Connor, the Secretary of the Advisory Group of Experts, to introduce the candidate and remind of the rules of the interview.
Good day, colleagues, dear colleagues, and to everyone who is watching this interview process. As our chairwoman has already said, the advisory group of experts will now interview the candidate, Olesia Nykon. Let me remind you that the interview is a mandatory stage of evaluating candidates as part of assessing their compliance with the criterion of high moral qualities. One interview takes approximately 1 hour, and the time limit for answering questions is no more than 3 minutes. Traditionally, we ask all candidates to be concise, to answer all questions posed clearly, unambiguously, and to the point. At the end of the interview, the candidate may make a short closing statement of no more than 5 minutes. I would also like to note that during the processing of materials about the candidates, the advisory group of experts has sent questions for written explanations, so the candidate has had the opportunity to prepare and to provide answers and to prepare for this interview. So now we have with us as a candidate for the position of judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine, Olesia Nykon. Ms. Nykon is a judge of the Commercial Court of Lviv Oblast. The candidate is a legal professional with 20 years of experience in the field of law, including 12 years as a judge. She is also a lecturer at the National School of Judges of Ukraine and holds a PhD in law. In addition, I would like to note that she has already taken part in the selection process twice and has interviewed by the advisory group of experts most recently in May of 2025. Let me ask the candidate, is there anything you would like to add to your introduction before we begin with the questioning?
Доброго дня.
Good morning. Thank you for this opportunity. Yes, indeed, I would like to add the documents that have been prepared in the morning. Now it's about introduction of yourself. What you would like to add? Which information about yourself you would like to add? Thank you. Yes, indeed, everything was presented correctly. Nothing to add. Thank you. Dear colleagues, now we start the interview. As Madam Secretary said before, I would like to remind the public and yourself, Madam Nykon, that you participate for the 3rd time in the competition for the position of the judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine. In particular, in the year 2023, the competition was announced on behalf of the Congress of Judges. You provided answers to written questions of the advisory group and took part in the interview. Then you have withdrawn from the competition on a voluntary basis. Repeatedly, you took part in the competition announced on 20th of February 2025 in May. You underwent interview with the advisory group of experts, and by the results of the competition, your candidacy was considered as non-compliant with criteria of high moral qualities. You have examined the negative decision about yourselves and the facts that were the basis for such negative decision. So, Madam Olesia, do you confirm the replies provided by yourself within the previous competitions, those answers that you have provided during the round of written interviews during this competition? Yes, indeed, I confirm. Now, would you like to provide additional information which was not subject matter to review in the previous competitions? Yes, indeed, I would like to provide, as I have examined the conclusions of the advisory group of experts. Additionally, I have sent my petitions dated back to April 2024 to Ukrainian Rails for the information about all tickets that they have for the period 2012-2015, as well as the schedule of all trains for this period, the main, the additional seasonal trains, and the reply from the Ukrainian Rail are available in the materials. This is a set of questions which was about your work in the city of Ternopil, and also you lived in that time in the city of Lviv together with your family. The second group of questions, which are subject matter of review in previous competitions, is about the attics that you have owned and the redesign of the attics and the mismatch of the value of the property obtained. Do you have here any new information which was not subject matter of review in the previous competition? Yes, indeed, I provided the photo. In addition to the photo, yes, in addition to the photo, I also provided the description of that property. What was the entrance to that attics? It was on the general staircase, common staircase. The access was a small corridor. The access from the right side to the attics, and to the left there was the entrance to the attics. Shall I discuss in detail, or is it sufficient? The main question was the low value of the attics when it was sold to you, including the house, including the entire building, and then increase of the value when you have sold this item of real estate. As for the attics, the increase when I sold, or the flat, do you mean? Yet we speak of the attics on Doroshenko Street 13. Yes, indeed, it was alienated for the value, as I quoted before, and that value was caused by lower cost because this building was destroyed. And accordingly, the report of the evaluation was taken into account, which caused physical deterioration, economic deterioration. From the photo, you can see that from that period, there were cracks in that facility, and altogether, the price was formed. As you discussed the value of the flat, that's a flat in the city of Lviv, Markovovchok Street, as I understand, you would like to additionally inform. As I have explained before, why the value has increased. The flat was bought in the year 2021 for 965,000 hryvnia, which on that period was equivalent of $36,000. In the year 2025, that flat I have alienated for the value of 2.6 million local currency, which at the time was equivalent of 71,000 US dollars. If you speak about the growth of the value, currency-wise, it was 2 times in foreign exchange. What was the reason, you asked? First of all, the reason was the beginning of the war, and the attractiveness of homes in city of Lviv has increased. And also the inflation was the reason, and also an increase of the value of construction of the cost of construction materials, and also as I made some kind of renovation, and overall it was such a value. Also, additionally, I provided a comparative characteristics, the reference how the value increased of real estate items in Lviv city 2021-2025. If you speak of this flat, there was a set of questions which is about the cost of the repairs you held in that flat and the sources of funds for such renovation activities. The repairs have been held for the amount of 400,000 green, equivalent to 10,000 US dollars. And the funds for such renovation was taken from the salary at that time. Yet within 2021-2023, the salary was 2,900,000 hryvnia, which was sufficient to make a partial renovation of the property. Dear colleagues, do you have any questions to the candidate?
Прошу, пані Ганна.
Hanna, please.
I just expressed that I don't have more question because, yes, it's okay.
Дякую. Шановні колеги, чи є ще запитання?
Dear colleagues, do you have any additional questions? Unless there are questions, Madam Oksana, you can make the final statements up to 5 minutes before the group of experts and the public. Thank you very much indeed. I would like to thank all the members of the advisory group of experts. I would like to thank the Secretariat for this opportunity to participate in this competition. What I would like to additionally inform that my motivation to become the judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine remains the same. It remains stable. What it is about, for about 20 years of my professional activity, I focused on the judiciary, and the profession of the judge, to me, is the activity of my life. First of all, this is my professional motivation to be responsible and to take lawful decisions. Secondly, this is my personal motivation, the high moral principle of justice, where the Constitutional Court of Ukraine is the important core of the protection of constitutional rights and liberties of people. Thirdly, I would like to outline my professional evolution, my continuous practical professional experience, my lecturing activities, also the working on the development of relevant draft legislation, additions, amendments, my scientific experience in the field of digitalization of Ukrainian judiciary, which in the future I would like to implement in the activity of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine. However, taking into account the specificity of the constitutional proceedings, briefly speaking, especially I would like to draw the attention to the Article 59 of the law, where the system of distribution of cases is done in the alphabetical order. It would be worthwhile to apply automatic distribution of cases among judges. Also about automated system, it's also possible to integrate it in the ESITS system, which functions in the courts, or like in Estonia or Israel, they distribute cases when there are basic modules like subsystems like electronic court, electronic office, or even implementation of the video conferencing system, if this is about open plenary sessions of the court, where this could be implemented. Having in mind that if we speak now of the constitutional complaint, there are some vulnerable groups of the population or the people who live in the remote regions or the pre-frontline areas. For them, this is the opportunity of effective access to justice, where this could be taken into account and implemented. Or also we could use foreign experience. For an example, briefly, if we take into account the system of recording of judicial sessions, which afterwards can be integrated and published like a recording of synchronization of such meetings, sessions which are implemented in Austria, where the system of voice recognition is also applied. This will give the opportunity to efficiently review cases. This can be reviewed in the judiciary.
В судах України.
And this could be applied in the courts of Ukraine, and we can also pay attention to the fact that to develop these modules which automatically give tasks to the court. And this will assist to give and to control the final task of the court with the procedural time frame. This system is implemented in Israel, and in this way it will give opportunity to conduct all things within the framework of procedural timeframes, or a synchronization of calendars with participants of the procedure, like it was implemented in Latvia, but it relates to courts of the general jurisdiction. So I already published the publication. I printed out and I have provided it to you. Over there, I look at all these suggestions and I provide suggestions towards amendments of the legislation. And my constant self-development and desire to grow professionally, they give me certainty and assurance that I will be able to I'll be a worthy judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine. I will be the guarantor of the constitutional rights and freedoms, and I will envisage and I will declare the supremacy of law. Olesia Nykon, thank you so much for the answers to the questions. Dear colleagues, dear public, right now the interview with Olesia Nykon is finished. Thank you.